Welcome everyone to our Let's Talk About It series. Tonight we're going to be coming from the conversation topic of worried about what other people think. My name is Lamar. I have with me Crystal Duran. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm good.
Thank you for joining me tonight and just sharing, and we're going to share our thoughts, our heart with you, and hopefully talking through this conversation can give you some insight and make some distinctions in your life to deal with them difficult things if you're being controlled by what other people think. So let's dive into it. Worried about what other people think. I believe it's a topic of discussion that a lot of us deal with, talk about, and are controlled by. I mean, from the standpoint of waking up in the morning and deciding what you're going to put on. Right. We're usually thinking from what this one's going to think about what I got. Now, I know ladies might have to deal with that a little more than us guys, but I mean, we want our stuff together as well. So come on, let's dive into it. What would you say is one of the harder things that you deal with in worrying about what other people think, just to kick the conversation off?
I probably would have to say, I don't know, social media probably would be, the heart of, I don't want to say anxiety, but just, you gotta make sure everything's, that picture perfect, make sure you're taking it at the right angle, and social media is the cause of that. But I think with me, it's, I guess, probably would lead to, marriage and kids and kind of losing your way or losing yourself, I would say. So with, getting dressed to go out in public or getting dressed to go to church, you think about it, or I think about it a little bit too much on what other people may think, just because I'm not completely happy with myself.
So I guess where I would, in helping us deal with this, I guess where would you feel it start from, or where would it come from? Why do we hang everything on what someone else has to say, especially social media? We post things, we post pictures. I mean, one of the reasons of doing this for myself and my difficulty worried about what other people think is going on your Facebook, YouTube, Instagram channels and sharing what I do and helping people every day. Now I'm taking that to this platform, and it was kind of hard for me starting out. It was difficult because Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, that just wasn't things I done for that simple reason of, is this gonna be right? Is the set gonna be right? How many? Thank God Zoom put filters on, so everybody worried about what my house looked like because of the background. So we got all of those things that we go through. But where do you think it starts from, or where do you think it comes from? Like, how do we generate that thought process of I gotta take into consideration?
Just trying to mask what we really thinking about ourselves or thinking about life. I mean, I know I used to always look at, women that once they hit 30, I'm 30 and this and that. But I wasn't as dramatic, but I started looking at things a lot different when I turned 30. So
that light bulb?
Yeah, like, the things that I previously, saw myself by the age of 30, or not necessarily by the age of 30, but some of the things that I wanted to accomplish already that I hadn't. So, just thinking like where you are in life you're not happy with, you try to compensate or try to put a mask on so that won't show on the outside. So
would it, I guess, would lead to insecurities maybe that I feel? I know me and you had a conversation a while back in dealing with, some clients we were working with, and one of the things came up of not being enough.
Right.
And a lot of what we do is to make up for that not being enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, you remember me asking you the question, enough for what? Enough for who?
Yeah.
Enough for, like, what is enough? You give me your definition of enough.
And I couldn't answer it.
And what are we basing that enough off of? Like, what is the criterion? Like, okay, if I can check off this one, then that means I'm enough. Or if I can check off this, it's gonna mean it's enough. But I mean, seems like the more we check off, the more we add to the list. I mean, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I believe that was a good answer that you gave of not feeling enough. And I believe sometimes in circles, in situations that we're in, because of other people's insecurities that make us feel like you're not enough.
Right.
And then we bring a lot of that on ourselves because we're seeing society, we're seeing what's on the outside, we're seeing, the bar that's kind of set sometimes, that most of the time the person setting the bar is not reaching that bar, right. But we put that pressure on ourselves. And then we go through life with pressure. That is the pressure real? Right. Or is it pressure that I put on myself?
I always say we are our own worst critic. So I think I'm hard on myself than anybody. But I mean, I don't know. It's not something that just happens overnight. It's little things. And it can be, getting teased when you were young. It's just little bitty things like that you kind of hold on to, especially if it, getting teased for the same thing years after years, then you start to question yourself or, am I enough, for these set of people, in this, like maybe, junior high or high school, and then it rolls over to friendship. It rolls over into your relationship. Just questioning yourself. And it don't have to be the way you dress. It can just be the way you act. I mean.
But that's my like, enough for who? Who's the big shot in the wherever? You get this thing that they not gonna let you do this, or they say you gotta do it this way. Like, who? We ain't never find out yet who is they.
Yeah.
So who is the person that says you gotta be enough? Because I believe sometimes that person is made up in our mind.
Yeah, because we're always on the outside looking in. So we all, the grass is green on the other side. We're always thinking that, if I was around this set of people, or if I had this person as my best friend or as my mentor, life would be different. I would be different. But when we try to go and, me personally, I try to go and do or try to get into those relationships, then you kind of find myself not being me, just trying to like ease in to see, trying to fill it out, but I'm not being true to myself.
Exactly. So it kind of goes back to our conversation in dealing with rejection. We're trying to fit into a mold that you're not made for. Yeah. This group that you're trying to be enough for, you're never going to be enough for, because they already have their image and thought process, and a lot of times we go through all of this effort trying to be something to someone that we don't, at the end of the day, you end up not wanting to be anyway, because it's too much work, instead of going the direction and finding the people that you can model yourself after, that you can be yourself around. And I believe one of the issues that we have in coming from cultures, in society, the different places that we frequent, co-workers, church, all of these environments, we're trying to fit into something a lot of times, and that pressure kind of crumbles us in a way. So we're gonna take a little break here, and when we come back, we want to talk about peer pressure and dealing with word about what other people think. So you just stick around and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking from the topic, worried about what other people think. In this segment, we're going to talk about peer pressure, because I believe that jumps right into where we left off, because the pressure, peer pressure, pressure coming from someone else, and then pressure you're putting on yourself to please someone else. Let's pick two of them. Pressure from someone else. Give me a, just an area that's difficult, because you feel like I always try to measure up to this peer group, but I just could never. It rattles me all the time because of the pressure that's being put on to be a certain way.
I probably would have to say peers my age, or peers from school.
So would it be okay? So say peers your age. So being your age, could the peer pressure be, I'm not where I feel I should be, based on conversations that I've had with my peers on where we should be in life?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So how do you go about, like, why put that pressure on ourselves when it goes back to reality? Is that reality? Like, who really, you kind of think of the going back to a high school reunion you see on TV, or you see on it, you got the person that got it all together can't wait for it, and the person that they ain't got it together, they dreading having to go to it. What I'm trying to help us with is, why do we put that pressure on ourselves?
I don't know. I just keep going back to making it seem like we're all good, everything's fine, even though it may not be.
Yeah.
I know first thing I try, somebody, how y'all doing? Oh, we good. And then I go straight to the kids, because, everything about the kids is, fine and dandy. But don't ask me how, work's doing, or, anything like that. The kids are great, So, I don't know, and it's not nothing that, people openly talk about. It's just that thing you don't want people to see, your struggles, or your, like, the insecurities. So you just have that peer pressure to make it seem like everything's okay.
And seeing out what I believe in, the power in what we're doing with dealing with the difficult, and let's talk about it, is being vulnerable to say, hey, I'm not going to live life behind the mask no more. I'm toe up from the flow up. I got these issues. These are things that I deal with. And, accept me for being me. And that's what I am passionate about, helping people come to that place, because I know how difficult it is to just being in a situation where you see someone you hadn't seen in a long time, and they walk up to you and you like, oh, hey, how you doing? And oh, I like your shirt. Oh, this whole thing, I got this from JCPenney for $2.99. Like, why do we go through all of that, when if you like the shirt, hey, I appreciate it, I thank you. Why we can't just accept the compliment, but we go straight into our head, into our insecurity, to say, oh, this was on sale. Right. Like, well, what if you paid a lot for it? I mean,
well, I don't know. I guess because in my family, we were always thought of, the ones that got it. We got it. And I guess it was like, I don't know, I don't want to say a defense mechanism, but it was just like, I don't know how to say it. But
if you work hard to get it,
yeah.
If you set out to say, hey, we're going to have something, we're going to do what it takes to have this lifestyle, but then you do that, and now you meet someone, come across, and now you draw back from that, when that was your whole aim and purpose. So it still goes back to worried about what other people think. Well, they're going to think I think I'm all of that.
Yeah.
I want you to think I have all of that in a way, not talking about being conceited or being arrogant, but when we devalue ourselves, how can we expect someone to value us?
Yeah, that's true.
So, but why we put time into valuing, but then when we bring that value to the table, we try to devalue it or dumb it down, like.
I don't know. I've been doing it for so long. It's just, I don't think about it.
So and that's what what I was going to maybe say is, do we not notice that we're doing it?
Right.
And I think me being the investigator that I am nowadays, I'm noticing a lot of stuff that people are doing and that we do, and seeing the stress and the strain that we put ourselves through.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm transparent, so I just think about ladies and the work that y'all have to go through just to. Like, I'm afraid to go outside my natural self, and now you see that popping up a lot. People are, hey, look, this natural. I'm just being myself. And somebody will give criticism to that, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, I got to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
How do we get here? That's what I'm saying.
Prime example. My hair today. I mean, I could have, wrapped it up with a scarf, but I just thought, was thinking, I want to be a little more professional. So, but like you said, who's to say that this is more professional than my dreads?
Because it's never going to be enough.
Right.
I mean, something going to be wrong. Someone going to have something negative to say about it. She could have did it this way. Or she could have done. I wouldn't have had that on. Why this and that? And we gauge that as our mode of operation. And where I'm trying to help bring people to owning your own power. Like, this is me. This is who I am.
Right.
This is my security. I remember you asking me, you don't deal with that as much. And I believe it because I'm secure in who I am. Right. I have people that inspire me, but I'm not necessarily wanting to be them. Right. I'm just inspired by things that they do. So I'm man, I can do that too, or I can build that, I can dream that. But I'm happy with who God made me, so it helps. I'm not saying that I don't still get into situations where I'm worrying about what other people think. I just accept it as, okay, well, I'm worrying about what other people think. Yeah. And now I'm at the point to where, okay, let's overcome this fear and just dive into it, because I'm worrying about what other people think. And let them criticize, let them say it, and see how I deal with it to overcome it. And that's.
And I get like that. Let's just say I'm trying to find something to wear in church. After the third or fourth outfit, I'm like, you know what, this is crazy. Let me just find. I end up picking the first thing that I had on. Yeah. So I mean, but I guess you come back to that, or I come back to that, just that light, like, why are you worried about it? You just going to church. Nobody should be worried about what other people are wearing anyway. So now
come on, we talking about church now. You know, that's the biggest fashion show on the Sunday.
Right.
In some cultures, in some places, that you gotta. It's like Easter Sunday every Sunday in some churches that you have to.
And you feel like it too. Trying to get ready, but
we're in a time where we have to wear masks due to the coronavirus situation, and slowly coming out of that. But how many people been wearing masks for years?
Right.
That they've been afraid to really be themselves. So that's one place, church. You dress up. It seems like you have it all together, but most of the time, and me being a pastor, I could attest to that. Hey, look, on the inside, you're dealing with some things that you need to deal with. On the outside, it seems like we got it all together. So even that pressure, and we're going to take a break right here, and I want to come back and talk about church a little more.
Okay.
And that added pressure that we, even in our walk with God, the pressure that we put on ourselves. So we appreciate you for tuning in with us. We will be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are talking from the topic, worried about what other people think. If you're just joining the conversation, we have last segment we was talking about the pressure of, having our appearance a certain way, even going to church, even, and just look at the irony in this, okay? We messed up on the inside.
Right.
We need a savior. We need someone to swoop in and fix these things. We tried alcohol, we tried drugs, we tried this, that, or the other, trying to get something settled on the inside. But then when we come to church, we covering up the outside, like, okay, I got it all together, but it's the inside that I'm having an issue with. And I believe that that's where the pressure comes, and I keep coming back to the same thing. Who is the determiner? Who determines?
Yeah. Like you said, and the more I think about it, it's not real, because I mean, you're your own worst critic, and people are going to talk no matter what. You're doing good. Oh, they had to do this to get there. You're doing bad. I knew it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and why we put so much pressure on, even if you have a bump in the road and you have a time where you're having difficulties, you maybe lost a job or made a bad mistake, and it cost you a setback, and now we're scared to go into these environments because, well, what they going to think? I lost my car. Well, what they going to think? I lost my house. What they going to think? And I look at you, I see you. Come on, talk to me.
To me, as they say, church folk can be worse. I mean, because they do try to, or we try to build up this persona that everything's good, and we, pray the best, and we, do this the best. But what's going on at home? We mask all of that because we don't want anybody to find out, that, I don't know, the son's on drugs, or kids not doing good in school because dad left. I mean, anything. We just try to cover it up. But
well, I mean, you're gonna be a less of a Christian if people really know it. But who really have it together in that manner? We from that standpoint, is Christ who gives us the righteousness or the life, and is living through Him. Not saying that you should live a life just free to do anything, because when, for myself, Christ coming into my life, it changed everything. Yeah. The areas where I had a void in, I didn't have that void anymore. And I believe that's one of the things that helps secure me even more, because I know where my identity is. Yeah. And I believe that's the answer. I'm not trying to find my identity. I'm just trying to grow even more and become all that I'm created to become, as opposed to trying to find one of my issues is just not having my father in my life like I would like to have had him. But now you got all of these insecurities that come from that. Yeah. But then now when you realize, I got my own mind, I got my own thoughts, I got my own way of doing things. Yeah. Why am I letting something control me when I have the authority and I have the power to take ownership and not allow it to hinder me? And that changed my life. Like, it changed immediately. Like, I've been worried about what somebody think all the time, and I don't have to. Yeah. No, you don't have to. Oh, I'm free. So it's like, how do you get to that point, though? How can you bring yourself to that point to where I can really say, I don't believe we would ever fully come to that point, But you can get to a point to where you really, like, it don't matter what. I think as you get older, especially you're, what, you're 30,
31.
31, I'm 43. So, I mean, I feel like that person at 65, 70, when the filter is just all the way gone. Like, I don't have a filter no more, so I can say whatever I want. Yeah. You offended, look, go dry your eyes or something, you'll be all right. Yeah. But when you go through so much hell of dealing with situations, and especially the area that I'm in and dealing with people, and now helping people transform their lives, when you talking and having these conversations with them, they even come to the realization, I've been letting this have power over me all of this time.
I was about to say, you look at the time that, you know, all this time where you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you look at all that time and just think of what life could have been when you're not worried about what other people think.
Exactly. So you're 30 years old. Let's help a 20-year-old out right now. That fresh out of high school, just going into college, and that's just what's. Just think about yourself, bombarding your mind, worried about what people thinking, and you doing things to try to what's the word I want to use? You're doing things to please people, so to say. Yeah. Now, still, I mean, you have a family of 3 kids, married, a husband working for us, things are looking in place.
Right.
What would you tell that 20-year-old person right now that, you know, we at 20, you got it all together. You know it all. You know what it needs to be. But then you're going to face these things.
Right.
Give that person some advice that you would tell yourself. Like, I wish I would have.
First, if it's constructive criticism, take it for what it is. Try it, even though, because sometimes we may think of where the advice or where the help may be coming from. We don't necessarily try to receive it. Take it for what it is, but you can't please everybody. Please God first, yourself second, and everything else will fall in line.
Can't please everybody, so
don't try.
It's when we dealing with this topic, that's what it's boiling down to. You know, our pastor say it all the time. You don't let people have power over you. That's the same as you trying to please people. Right. But okay, let's. I want to deal with this constructive criticism, but let's as far as pleasing people and you know, dealing with that. What happens when, you know, you draw from that, and then now you get that criticism where it's not about trying to please nobody no more. You become a problem.
Right.
So now how you deal with that?
I have no idea.
Do you have the strength and the courage to, you know, I remember someone saying, do you have the courage to be blessed? And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because look what comes with it. Like, look what comes with having means, or being a person with confidence, being a person with joy and with peace. You think of Joel Osteen, people think something wrong with the man because ain't nobody can be that happy. Like, what's wrong with being happy without allowing the storm? Like, there's a storm going on, there's things controlling people. I would get it a good bit right now too, with the pandemic going on, and there, this happening and that happening. I'm like, this is the greatest time for opportunity. This is like, what is wrong with you? Do you not see what's going on? Well, I know in bad times, that's when things are developing, that's when things are built. So how do you deal with, okay, I've come to the place where I'm not going to be a people pleaser anymore. I'm not going to allow people to have power over me. I'm not going to allow other people's opinions to direct me. And then now you made that decision, and then the heat comes. How you deal with that?
Discipline. Because you can say I'm going to do something all day long, and then once that pressure hit,
That's why I'm asking the question. It's like, okay, now once the pressure is going to hit, is dealing, and that's it goes back to peer pressure. Mm-hmm. The 20-year-old you dealt with the pressures of life, the pressures of the things that would have to come at you. And then now, because I don't know at 30,
right,
that you know what, I put this pressure on myself when I didn't have to.
right.
And now you got other pressures that comes on from there, but now you're better able to manage it. So I wanna continue on constructive criticism and move to that way, because I don't believe all criticism is bad. And you gave a good point of, take it for what it's worth, use it. If it's because it may be something that you need to change, because everybody is not a hater all the time. It may be somebody trying to tell you, look, you need to get this right, and they just hating on me. Well, no, you doing that wrong. So when we come back, that's what we're gonna dive into, constructive criticism. So you tune in. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It, where we're talking about worried about what other people think. Next week, we're going to continue on this conversation, and we would like you to tune in.